said, stay tuned, John McCain and I will talk about William Ayers and the weather underground. And bam, and then I had to stay tuned for an hour. And Andy said to McCain, what do you think about this professor, tenured professor who did this stuff? And McCain was taking the high road, which he's been able to do since the primary ended, and he said, let's let bygones be bygones. It's not time to beat up on everything. Let's just move on. People say, do you regret anything you did against the government those days? And my answer is no, I do not.
That was former Weather Underground member Bill Ayers speaking recently at the University of North Dakota about his past terrorist activity, and, of course, our own Sean Hannity. Barack Obama has come under fire for his ties to Ayers, and critics are calling on him to repudiate the relationship. Joining us now, Fox News contributor, former Bush advisor, Karl Rove. Karl, is this, I see Barack coming up in the polls against Hillary Clinton, even in Pennsylvania. Is this truly an issue for Barack Obama?
Yeah, I think first we need to understand what his relationship is. They've talked about, there's been talk in the past about friendship. They made speeches together. He was a supporter of him in his race for the state Senate. It'd be interesting to know further how close the links are. But look, both Ayers and his wife Bernadine Dorn were violent extremists in the 1970s who, as you saw today, are still unrepentant about their bombings of U.S. government facilities and police stations and so forth. So it's a little troubling if there is a relationship here. Let's see how deep and how broad and the relationship was.
As it turns out, Barack Obama was, I think, 8 years old at the time of those bombings. Ayers and Obama served together on a 9-member board of the Woods Fund. For 3 years. They appeared jointly on 2 academic panels, one in '97 and one in 2001. Their kids, I think, attended some of the same schools. Is that enough to indict Barack Obama on Bill Ayers?
Well, I also understand they were associates, that he was a political support of his. But look, I think the first thing is find out what kind of relationship they actually had. Let's hear from the Obama camp, and let's hear from Ayers about the kind of relationship they had. But look, it's not the point that you started with, that Obama was only 8 years old when this man committed these violent acts. Well, he was an adult and might have had a relationship with him. Let's see if there is a relationship that continues to this day, and see how close it is. The fact that Barack Obama was 8 years old doesn't excuse Professor Ayers from the violent acts and the hatred he had for our country in the 1970s, and apparently is unrepentant about today.
Hey, Karl, it's Sean. I have found 2 University of Chicago press releases, one in '97 and one in 2002. The Politico did ask David Axelrod of the Obama campaign about the relationship, and his quote is, quote, "They are certainly friendly." That's earlier in the campaign. September 11, 2001, of all days, Ayers is quoted as saying, "I don't regret setting bombs. I feel we didn't do enough." And we're talking about bombing New York City Police Headquarters, the Capitol, the Pentagon. How could you say you're friendly with an unrepentant terrorist?
Well, again, let's see what the relationship is, but it is troubling. There's enough here that there are questions that need to be answered. Senator Obama ought to say in a more formal way what was his relationship, and whether or not he feels that this is an appropriate sentiment. It is troubling. Ayers and Dorn were both violent, and they were dangerous, and they apparently attempted to inflict mayhem, and they didn't care. And